Hi, I hope everyone is having a wonderful day today. In this reading, I'm going to be looking into the question, do you have a secret admirer and will they approach you soon? There are three groups to choose from. Group 1 is this crystal. Group 2 is this crystal. And group 3 is this crystal. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you'd like to jump ahead. And up next is a close-up photo of the crystals to help you better make your selection. Hi, Group 1. You chose this crystal. So let's start by looking into the question, do you have a secret admirer? Okay, we have the Four of Cups, the Three of Swords, the Hierophant, and the Knight of Cups. So this definitely indicates you have stirred feelings within somebody who could be either in a long-term relationship with someone else or they're in a marriage. It might even be a marriage that's on the rocks or a long-term connection that they've been in that is just like not making them happy. And there's a sense of almost like they're aware that if they were to leave their situation or move forward in their life in some sort of way, there'd be opportunity between the two of you. But at this point in time, it's like you almost present as a guilty pleasure or like a forbidden fruit. It's almost like because of the circumstances that they are in, there's nothing that they could really do about this that wouldn't, involve turning it into like a third party situation. So this could be somebody that's like struggling with their morals, with their ethics at this particular point in time, but it feels like more than that, there's almost the sense of kind of whatever their situation is that they are currently involved in, it's not like a happy place that they are in. And so there's a sense of almost you represent some sort of door to freedom, or like the idea of steps they may have already contemplated in their life before encountering you. And then there's a sense of all of a sudden then you appear, you've come into their attention, and it's like the idea of sort of leaving their current circumstance, walking away from that. It's not like they're just walking out into the unknown in a very solitary energy. It's the sense of like you've stirred something within that they will have the ability to love again, or maybe the feelings that have been stirred, or the curiosity that's been stirred. It's the sense of like, I could perhaps experience something different, better, less painful, less toxic. They may be like married to a karmic person or in a long-term relationship with someone they've defined or have come to understand is karmic. There's a lot of toxicity within that kind of connection. And so there's a sense of almost this is kind of a situation of whatever the feelings are, whatever kind of the mind has sort of built up into the realm of fantasy about you, or about kind of the nature of a timeline that you occupy, that removing themselves from their current situation would give them access to. It's captured their attention. This is somebody, it feels like, that is sort of, there's a dilemma, there's like a choice. Do I remain tethered to my situation? Do I remain where I'm no longer happy, where where I'm feeling stuck? This could have been somebody who was like praying for guidance, working up the courage, seeking the ability to kind of extract themselves or walk away from this situation, and almost kind of like a beacon on the horizon, you have appeared for them as kind of like, you're not just walking out into nothing. You're not just kind of walking out into a life of loneliness. And so it feels like it's very compelling. They have their eye on you as kind of a reprieve from whatever it is they're currently involved in, which may just be like a relationship for show at this particular point in time. two people that are, not feeling one another anymore, not in love with one another, maybe never were in love, kind of just pressure from family, other sort of circumstances, duty and obligation might have forced these two people together into a long-term connection or even into a marriage. And it's a sense of whatever's happening or has been happening, you represent a very different kind of life that would be possible for them, that's available for them, if they were willing to like walk away from their present situation. But it's almost, this is not the energy of somebody it feels like that would want to juggle you as an option. It's like either or, either I remain in my situation or I take steps to move out of that circumstance. And then I'm in the realm of exploration of a different kind of life for myself and exploration of these feelings that have surfaced for you, that have developed, that have grown for you in an open way. This feels like somebody of integrity, somebody that doesn't want to just like have a sneaky connection with somebody. It's like a deeply loyal or a deeply kind of loving person, and those needs are just not met within their present circumstance. And then all of a sudden you've appeared, unbeknownst to you, like this person is just sort of seeing you as like this light at the end of a very long dark tunnel that they have been kind of trudging along in for quite some time. And then all of a sudden, like, you've appeared as kind of a motivator to get to a choice point or to pick up the pace with that. This can also be something that it feels like you represent something that gives them some kind of hope. You fill them with light as they are really struggling within themselves or within like their current nature, their current circumstance. So let's see if this person will approach you anytime soon. Okay, so we have crystals, focus, wind, activation, iceberg, submerged, and dragonfly, emergence. So there's a sense here again that you represent some kind of place that they would like to move towards in their life in general, but it feels like for the time being that they have kind of no choice to just sort of sit and observe from afar, admire you from afar. You, the essence of you, maybe kind of like however it is that they're observing you, however it is they're seeing you. This could be somebody like within your community. This could be somebody even that sort of like watches you from a distance or like sees you on social media, sees the things that you post. And they're very like inspired by you. They're very uplifted by you. They feel very empowered by your energy, by your lifestyle, by like what you present or what they're able to kind of glean or decipher from you. And so it's almost the sense of kind of the idea of you, the energy of you, the essence of you. This may be something that you're almost like this person's, like you don't really have an awareness, but like you're their companion as they may be getting ready to like make some big decisions, difficult decisions that have been kind of in the works for quite some time. This is almost the sense of kind of, they just needed some kind of motivation or shove or push to take some sort of action to kind of free themselves from circumstances that have them feeling very limited or kind of stuck within their life in general. And so there's almost a sense of, as they make progress to kind of stand up for themselves, advocate for themselves, maybe even make plans and preparations, to separate from someone, to get a divorce, to break up with someone. There's the idea of kind of on the other side of like a necessary metamorphosis, like a healing phase, something where they would need to kind of shed an identity in order to step into a different kind of version of themselves, something where they feel almost like there would need to be some sort of period of time like in between two relationships where they're single, they're kind of like shedding the energy, allowing themselves to mourn what has kind of passed. This could be somebody who is in the midst of getting a divorce right now. They're in the midst of a separation, or they've freshly stepped out of a relationship, and that can also be why it feels like for the time being they'll just sort of watch from the sidelines, because there's a sense within themselves like I need to give myself a grace period before I just bounce into another connection. I don't want to bring kind of the wreckage of what I've just stepped out of or what I'm trying to get myself out of into something new with this person. And this is interesting. I'm hearing you saved my life. So it might be something where this person was kind of just really numb, really in kind of a low or dark place. And then you've come into their awareness as kind of maybe things that you put out there, like, you know, anything that's like motivational or even just the essence of your energy. It's like a light that they are warming themselves adjacent to. They feel very kind of like hopeful, or that they look at their life and it's not so overwhelming and hopeless. So you've really like inspired this person as an individual, but then there's also feelings that have been stirred where there's almost a sense of like, I want to approach you, but I want to make sure that I'm not coming in with this energy of like situations or circumstances in my life that, you know, I'm needing to close out. It may be somebody that, like, if they're planning on getting separated or filing for a divorce, you know, that might happen, and then they could approach you, you know, after that situation sort of happens or is taken care of in some sort of way. But it feels like somebody that will just continue to kind of like watch and admire from afar through kind of a transformation process for themselves. It feels like whatever they would need to kind of extract themselves from, it's something that it's not just an overnight fix. It's not like they just kind of walk away from something and that's it. There may be like a division of assets, having to like move, having to relocate. There may be a lot of moving parts involved in whatever they're kind of currently in, or whatever they sort of have maybe freshly stepped out of, that they need to kind of find a way to sort of deal with that, manage that, rethink that in some sort of way, or kind of adjust their mindset from what was the status quo into like their new reality. But they're keeping like an eye on you through this process. It's almost like as they perhaps plan steps forward in their life, it's like map checking with you as sort of like, okay, you and the vibe that you're getting off, someone like you, like the way in which you're radiating energetically, or the things you have going on in your life, this is like, it resonates with them. They want that. They want that kind of warmth and experience for themselves as a person, and also with someone like you. So it may even be that, like, compared to whoever they're with currently, or maybe they've freshly left, you're like night and day. You know, the previous spouse or the previous partner, like the person they're currently with, is compared to you, it's almost like stepping out of just kind of a gloomy existence into life lived in full color. And so there's a sense of, it's very compelling. You draw this person in like a moth to a flame. And so it's a sense of just kind of like silent observer. If this is somebody it feels like that you have direct contact with, like physical personal contact with, you know, if it's like somebody in your community, you know, somebody that could even be like the spouse of somebody that you're aware of or that you know, where that can kind of be a detail of like not overstepping any sort of boundaries, but definitely kind of, or not like making awkwardness or anybody uncomfortable, but there's almost the sense of sort of like, you're what I'm gravitating towards. You are the person or the type of person that motivates me to no longer settle within my reality. And so it feels like they won't make their feelings known. They'll kind of just sit there and admire you and kind of radiate towards you. If this is somebody that's like on social media, you know, they may comment on things that you post, you know, like things that you post, support you in some way in that capacity, kind of anonymously, just so you're not aware, because this is somebody that feels like if they would want to start a romantic relationship with you, or try to get to know you, they'd want it to be above board. They'd want it to be in the light of day, because there's a sense of almost, they see divinity within you. They see you as somebody. It's a very high vibrational being. And so there's a sense of like, I need to climb out of this pit that I'm in order to be able to kind of match that frequency with you. I don't want to drag you down to my level. I want to rise to the occasion, meet you. So it feels like they'll continue to be in that secret admirer mode, at least for the time being. So let's get some message cards from this person's higher self and see what they want you to know right now. Okay, Okay, and they say, I think often of wanting to see you. Yeah, so if you post things on social media, they look forward to that. If that's a regular thing, any kind of photos or selfies that you're putting up, they look at that, they adore it. It's likely they don't have it saved on their phone or their computer because, again, it feels like there's some kind of like a third party in this situation. Although if they are freshly out of a long-term connection, or they're in the process of getting a divorce, then certainly they could have like a photo of you saved. But it feels like this is somebody that doesn't want to come across as like creepy or like stalker kind of energy. It's almost the sense of just, you have captivated me, and I can't help looking at you. I just want to sort of drink your energy and your essence in, but not wanting to come forth towards you at some future point with like the energy of just sort of desperation, or something that would be very overwhelming or off-putting to you. They also say, I feel like I'm obsessing over you. Yeah, so they're definitely following you on social media. They're, kind of watching from afar, thinking about you a lot. Just your energy, the way you live your life, who you are as a person. It's so different from anybody they've ever met, the reality that they're currently in or that they've just exited. And so there's a sense of almost not necessarily trying to like, oh, I just want to emulate and mimic your life entirely, but it's almost like you've provided this person with kind of the energetic boost, or maybe you've opened their mind, or you've compelled them in some sort of way to start to look at their situation, the tools they have available to them, the resources they have available to them, their mindset, their relationship with themselves and others, and ways in which they can kind of improve that, ways in which they can kind of dig deep into that authenticity and see, where have I been settling, where have I been hiding, where have I been like denying my personal truth. And so there's a sense of like you're helping to motivate this person to better themselves, to empower themselves. They also say, I feel your love around me constantly. So they may feel your energy. They may be getting signs and synchronicities related to you. Something where, even though this feels kind of like forbidden fruit, it's like a taboo, it's like a guilty pleasure, there's a lot of confirmation from the universe that is sort of giving them reassurance that it's okay, that they kind of like have these feelings for you, or they're holding you in this kind of space inside of themselves, because the timeline that you exist upon, it's something that is like a different, it's like an alternate reality. It's something very different from how they've been living their life, how they've come to understand love and partnerships. Like there are many different things available to them if they're willing to take steps forward to kind of extract themselves from like a situation that is past its expiration date, something that could just be very toxic, a lot of unhappy people just in the whole equation, to where it's almost like they could sit and suffer and kind of just wallow, or take initiative and do something to kind of reclaim their power and steer their life in a better direction. And so it feels like more than just whatever future potential could happen between you and this individual. There's also a sense of kind of like they're at a crossroads moment, might be going through like an existential crisis almost, or like dark night of the soul, sort of like, okay, I could go on living this way and time will pass, and then I may look back on my life and regret not taking that opportunity to make a change for myself for the better. Or I can take a bold step, be brave, do what I have known maybe for quite some time is necessary. Because this doesn't feel like the energy of somebody that's just, everything was fine in their situation and then they saw you and now it's all falling apart. It's almost like this person has been stuck in kind of a negative situation for quite some time. They've almost been like praying for a sign, praying for a way out, praying for something, kind of already sort of seeking alternatives for themselves and their life in general. And then you came on the scene and it's kind of just supercharged them. Like there is something better for me out there in an all-encompassing sense. And so it's a sense of almost kind of like wanting to build themselves beyond this kind of misery that they're in, into the direction of sort of, living for themselves, seizing the moment, really kind of, taking this opportunity that they have at this particular point in time to make a choice. Are they just going to continue to settle, or are they going to follow their heart in general in the direction of like a whole different kind of life? They also say, I did some research on twin flames and it resonates. So they may consider you their twin flame. There may be a sense of kind of like you're that light in the darkness. They may think, perhaps you two are soulmates. There's a sense of almost like it's more than just an attraction. This is more than just like a lust-based energy. There's something that really is pulling them towards you, pulling them forward, to kind of look at their own situation and to kind of willfully make changes in order to step into that higher version of self, that more empowered version of self. You've ignited something within this person that it feels like they've never felt before, they've never experienced it. It may be very confusing for them, sort of based on their situation. And then all of a sudden it's like they've come to life just by catching sight of you through your brief interactions with one another. If you've been face to face with this person, something has really shifted inside of this person, where it's like they can no longer just shrink back into the life they were living. They can't unsee what they have seen now with you. So let's get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got B, S, J, U, F, K, Z, Y, X, I, R, D, M, D, A, T, E, L, W, and V. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. You chose this crystal. So let's start off by taking a look at, do you have a secret admirer right now? Okay, we have the 7 of Cups, the 9 of Wands, 4 of Wands, and the 7 of Pentacles. So the 7 of Pentacles, this feels like a very obvious confirmation here that you do have a secret admirer. And with that idea that I'm drawn to the fact of like, it's very obvious, this person may be not trying to hide it as much as they had for a period of time. This person could have been like watching you for a while, pretending that they weren't interested. In the past, they could have said there's nothing between you. They don't feel anything for you. They weren't looking for anything serious. This might have been somebody who like rejected you in the past or like ran from this connection, but they've come full circle, or it's almost a sense of sort of, they might have been waiting to see what you would do, almost like an expectation. This could have been somebody that had like pessimism towards love in some sort of way, and kind of like, better that I reject them before they reject me, which will happen inevitably. And so they pushed you away, and you might have just said, okay, and moved forward. You could have handled it with grace, with tact, with dignity, as much as was possible, perhaps, given the nature of the circumstances. And it's a sense of, this person has been like admiring you, admiring your progress, admiring your journey, admiring your growth as an individual. Maybe even somebody who, they pushed you away, and it's kind of like they said things that can't be unsaid, but quickly could have come to this understanding of like, what have I done? I didn't mean to push this person away. I didn't want things to end like this. I'm hearing, wait, don't go. So it's somebody that it feels like has already given you this impression that like they're not interested. This might have even been somebody that just subtly, through their kind of energy, through their body language, maybe they've been very like cold or shut off, and you've just kind of assumed, you've maybe tried to, give this person indicators, feel things out, sort of press them to understand that like you're open for them to make the first move, and they've responded with inaction, or even kind of just distance, emptiness in some sort of way, to where you could have just turned your sights elsewhere. Like, okay, I'm not going to waste my time with this. I value myself too much to kind of chase somebody. So it feels like you've redirected your focus in some sort of way. And this person, though, is very much watching. They've been watching. It's like long-term secret admirer energy. Feels like they're inching closer to a place of revealing themselves outwardly, though, and like trying to maybe get your attention or not be as subtle as they once were. If this was somebody that just sort of held their feelings within, or even kind of rejected you in the past, it feels like they were operating from a place of fear, fear of abandonment, feeling, you were too good to be true, or, that they like, am I ready to dive in deep with this person? Feeling like you deserve better than me. I can't give you what you're looking for at this time. All these excuses that they may have had, some of which they told you about or alluded to, others which could have just been kind of circling around inside, sort of their inner critic, putting them in a position inside of themselves of not feeling worthy of true love and partnership with another person. But it feels like that was the wrong decision to make. It created a chasm, or like a wedge between the two of you, or something where there's been opportunities to sort of step forward, to do something, to say something, to kind of turn the tides in this situation. And they've chosen not to do that up to this point in time. But it feels like this is somebody now that is sort of, they're taking that veil off. They're not like trying to hide those feelings, hide their presence. They're not trying to be as nonchalant as they once were. So it's maybe somebody that, you could be like, all right, yeah, I figured that was them. It felt like this person was approaching, or that they've had some kind of change of heart. It maybe didn't feel accurate, or it could have felt like the rug was pulled out from under you if they'd rejected you in the past, or like what happened. This person could have just ghosted, just disappeared all of a sudden, or like night and day, their attitude towards you changed, which could have been very much like a turn off for you in some sort of way, or you processed that and kind of just moved forward in some capacity. And so it may be somebody that is almost like wanting to come back around for a second chance, looking for like a reconciliation, although it feels to be something that this might have even just been a situation where it was like a failure to launch in the past. This person sort of extinguished it before it ever really got off the ground. And it's a sense of almost like, I regret doing that, or that was the wrong decision. That wasn't like an accurate reflection of what I felt inside at the time, or even now. And it feels like you may have sort of sensed that, or knew that in some sort of way of kind of like, this doesn't feel right. This feels not in alignment with kind of the vibe between us, what was building, the momentum that was taking place. And so there's a sense here of almost that this person may be trying to almost move towards you in a way that is not just kind of, it's more than just like an I'm sorry, or, I'm interested. It's almost like they feel bad for like denying something or questioning this potential between the two of you. They could see you as their soulmate, or even like their twin flame, with that kind of 11-11 energy, with the Four of Wands here. There's a sense of almost just, they were overwhelmed by the energy between you in the past, and they've been watching like from a distance. But now it's kind of in this place of just watching from the shadows, to like, they're getting closer and closer, giving hints, making it more obvious that like, hey, I'm here. Hey, I'm looking. Hey, I'm wanting to speak to you. I'm wanting to deepen the nature of our connection. This could be like somebody like a work connection, even something in like where there's been chemistry or flirtation, but then they just kept it all business, and they may be getting ready to kind of like, ask you out, or sort of like giving little hints and indicators of like, I'm attracted to you. I want, to explore something more within this situation. It could also be somebody that is like at one point in time was like physically near you, but is now like at a distance. And so it's the sense of almost like more complications that have sort of happened. It was fears in the past, but now there's sort of like mixed signals or the wrong information that was given, or like other factors that have now compounded to where it's not as easy for this person to kind of just walk up to you and speak what's on their mind. Yeah, so it feels like this may, for a lot of you, this may be something where you already kind of like know who this is, or this just like provides confirmation for something that you were kind of sensing was happening or getting ready to happen. So let's see if they will approach you anytime soon. Okay, we have fairies, earth magic, waterfall, effortless, desert, vision quest, and Milky Way, perspective. So it feels like this person has some kind of like plan of action, something where there are like layers that they're having to transcend beyond kind of like a fear of failure, a fear of rejection, a fear of like maybe the magic has dissipated between the two of us. Maybe the moment has passed. Maybe I messed this up so much that there's like nothing left to work with. Maybe trust issues are so great at this particular point in time that, again, it's not just, it doesn't feel as easy for them as kind of just saying hello or, you know, asking you out for coffee, you know, something like that. And this could all just be sort of their own perspective. It's like they're rising up out of this kind of shadow energy, sort of like pushing their inner critic aside on almost like a daily basis or on a regular basis. And in the process of that, kind of nearing this place of like, okay, I'm going to speak. I'm just going to open up. I'm going to let it flow. I'm going to say everything that I held inside. I'm going to say everything that I couldn't or wouldn't say before. I'm going to provide explanations. It feels like they don't want to provide excuses, but explanations. There's almost like somebody who's done a lot of deep introspection, shadow work. This could have been something that like they pushed you aside or rejected you or didn't choose to invest. And that could have sent them into like a dark night of the soul kind of energy. A sense of like very immediately feeling, what did I do? Why did I do that? Why did I say that? Why did I treat this person or this situation in this manner? And so it feels like they've been in a process of like introspecting. So it's almost like they are in the process of rebirthing themselves. And with this is then I have something more to offer to you than I could have in the past. It's like shedding the aspects of themselves that were either like fearful of sort of repeating patterns, maybe from past disappointments in love. So they just had like a pessimistic attitude. It couldn't possibly work out between the two of you because it never worked out with anyone else. You couldn't really accept them or comprehend them for who they are because nobody else ever could. Everything that they have loved, it's all just kind of fallen apart at some point. Like mindsets like that or like a narrative like that, that they are actively like rewriting that script in some sort of way. They could be working with like affirmations, you know, kind of reprogramming themselves into more of like a positive mindset, not allowing themselves to be sort of like stopped by these kind of thresholds of fear in some sort of way. So it feels like this could be something where if this is somebody that you have like direct contact with, like it's a coworker or it could be like a classmate or somebody within like your friend circle or that you know socially or, you know, that you see or interact with, it's almost like they move in closer in the sense of more regular contact with one another, more kind of interested in being around you. This could be somebody that like avoided eye contact before, and you could notice they start looking you in the eye. They start approaching you first rather than just being like responsive or you having to kind of put in all the effort. If it's somebody that's at a distance from you, you might just start to feel their energy radiating towards you. They may pop up in dreams or you just feel them around you throughout the day, which is kind of this idea of like energy flows where attention goes. They have their eyes on you, not of just like, I want to sit here and admire you live your life without me, but like, I want to become part of your story. I want us to explore all that untapped potential. I want to rewrite the past, the opportunity that was missed in the situation, or that I was so foolish as to pass by. This is somebody who's like seeing your value and worth right from the start, but they couldn't see themselves as the match for you that would satisfy all of this kind of radiant beauty that they like saw or perceived or felt or sensed about you. Like they might have not felt good enough for you, or like in a long-term sense, you would just get bored with them. You'd get tired of them. You would discard them. So it's almost like, I'll leave you before you leave me. I'll put an end to this situation before I get invested, and then you decide to walk away. So it's almost like they understand that they've self-sabotaged, but this is somebody that almost like wants to undo that. And they're at a place right now of undoing the nature of that, or the tendency towards that within themselves. They could be doing shadow work. This person could be invested in like self-help, personal empowerment practices. Maybe they're getting therapy. They're thinking outside of the box, even like shamanic journey work and kind of healing and things of that nature. They're leaving no stone unturned as far as like, why do I operate this way? What mechanism within me would cause me, or have caused me in the past, to push away a good thing, or to not run full force towards something that felt so magnetic, so magical. So it feels like they're making their way towards you, and it's almost like, rather than just popping up all of a sudden, you may really feel this person like warming up to you. You may feel the essence of their energy kind of crackling within your aura, like they're coming in closer as sort of a prelude to actual 3D contact, in the sense of like speaking on those emotions, speaking that truth, seeing, can we work with this? Can we move beyond all of this? Can we go back to the start with one another and turn this narrative in a different direction? It feels like they've been thinking about this for quite some time. They've been making their way to you almost since immediately when you parted ways, or when they pushed you away. So it's like long-term secret admirer. So let's get some messages from their higher self and see what they want you to know. Okay, and they say, I am awake and confused about all of this. Yeah, so this is somebody who has been digging deeply within their own psyche. Why do I behave the way that I do? Why do I operate the way that I do? Why did I push away a good thing? Why am I so afraid of love when it's everything that I've ever wanted, and it feels to be present with this person? I felt the stirrings of that. We were starting to build in that direction, and I ran, or I pushed them away. It's, they're not just kind of like sitting there and just accepting themselves as they are. This is somebody who's been putting in the work. They've been coming to an understanding of themselves, learning themselves, seeking to kind of change the things that they can about themselves, so that there's more than just kind of like, and I'm sorry to offer, or like, I see the light now. It's almost like have been striving and have in many ways become a more self-aware person. That's the gift that I can offer to you. They also say, baby, I miss you. Yeah, so this is definitely somebody from your past, somebody who walked away from you, pushed you away. It doesn't feel, for some of you, it could have been like an ex. You could have been in a romantic relationship, but this feels like untapped potential. This is somebody where you were like right on the brink of creating a narrative with one another, and they got cold feet. They walked away. They second guessed this. They allowed those doubts and fears to make them question the potency and the truth of what existed between the two of you. And they've been missing you every day since. They also say, I love you to the moon and back. Yeah, so this is, again, somebody that's been watching for a very long time, making their way back into your orbit very slowly, peeling back the layers of doubt inside of themselves in order to reach that place of empowerment where they can look you in the eye, speak their truth. And if you let them back into your heart, then there's a sense of they want something very enduring, something very lasting. They don't just want to fling. They don't just want to see what it would be like to be with you and then, go in the opposite direction. This is almost like, I want to do everything I didn't do back then. I want long term with you. I want forever with you. They also say, you mean the world to me. So this person, it feels like they want to give you the world in the sense of kind of retrofitting some things within themselves so that they present as like a safe person, a safe place for you to kind of just lean into and to become vulnerable, to experience the love that you sensed was possible with them in the past that did not come into a place of being, which they have not ever been able to shake. The sense of regret of like that, maybe their biggest regret in this life is what happened in the situation between the two of you. And so it feels like this is somebody that wants to give this a chance, wants to see if you can have a do-over with one another, if there can be something different that happens in this situation rather than just like a missed opportunity. So let's get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got C, Y, S, J, H, A, T, E, L, G, D, G, O, E, M, D, R, T, X, C, W, B, and P. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. You chose this crystal. So let's start by taking a look at, do you have a secret admirer right now? Okay, we have the Queen of Wands, the Ten of Pentacles, the King of Cups, and the Knight of Wands. So with these energies, I'm hearing, oh yeah, so there is somebody that is very captivated by you, highly magnetized towards you, eager and enthusiastic to not waste any time or sit very long in the energy of secret admirer. This may be somebody who has recently caught sight of you, and there's a sense of like, yes, I want to move towards this person. I want to get to know this person. This could be somebody who's like doing research on you at this particular point in time, trying to kind of just do a quick sweep of your life, like an inventory of what they're able to sort of perceive on a surface level. What are your habits? What are your patterns? What are your routines? How can they kind of orchestrate a meeting with you? It feels like somebody that would be able to approach you in a direct sense, like in your physical world and environment, rather than somebody that would like reach out online. So if there's some place that you like go regularly, or something where you might even be kind of a mysterious person, and you know your schedule is kind of sporadic to where it's like, how do I get you alone? How do I find a way to sort of coordinate a face-to-face meeting? They may be somebody who sees you at a place that you go to regularly. This could be somebody that goes to the same gym as you, they go to the same grocery store, they see you at the same coffee shop. It might be somebody that works near where you work, or even kind of like lives in your neighborhood, in your community. And so it's like they've seen you around, they've caught glimpses of you. You might have already made eye contact with this person. You could have had like a brief exchange with them. Maybe they held the door open for you at some particular point in time, or they've like seen you on various occasions. And this feels like somebody that from the moment that they saw you, an interest was sparked, and then they saw you again, and it's like, okay, this wasn't just somebody passing through town. This wasn't just somebody that, you know, there's a glimpse of them and then they're gone. So it's almost like each time they've seen you, it's heighten this kind of level of sort of excitement or enthusiasm about this person. It feels like this is somebody who is just trying to kind of gauge or see, do you appear to be in a relationship with somebody? They're not concerned if there's other people that you're talking to. This is almost like a very confident person, somebody with a very bright or memorable presence in general. They may be somebody that their energy when they walk in a room, it changes the energy of the room. So this is not somebody that's like building up the courage, building up the confidence. It's kind of just, they don't want to approach you and find out that you're married, that you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. This is somebody that might see you and they're kind of looking, okay, is this person wearing a wedding ring? No? Okay, that's an item checked off the list that is giving me a green light to move in closer. When I see this person out, are they alone? Are they with friends? Are they with family? Or does it appear that, you know, they're on someone's arm, they have a significant other, they're holding hands with someone? No? Okay, that's another green light that encourages them to progress forward. So it may be something where they've asked around about you, or they've overheard you like say your name. Like if you're giving your name at a coffee order, for example, they're aware of that. Or, you know, they may have like heard somebody call you by name, but it's a sense of like, they don't want to come across as somebody that's like, oh, I know all this information about you. Like they're stopping themselves from going into this kind of, I'm just going to research you, find out everything, and, you know, kind of move in that way. This is somebody that wants to just see where things go very organically, very naturally. And so it's almost like they're doing a quick sort of evaluation of like, do you appear to be single? Do you appear to be available? Because this is somebody that is open and ready for love. They're ready for whatever can unfold between this. You know, they're deeply attracted to you. They themselves may be a very attractive person. This is not somebody with commitment issues. This is not somebody that is, you know, kind of just like looking to waste people's time or play mind games. It's almost somebody that may be very like empathic or energetically sensitive, and like when I feel something, when I sense something with another person, with a connection with another person, every time I've acted on that impulse, I've been correct. It's been the right thing to do. When I've ignored that impulse, I've regretted it. So it feels like this is somebody that they know what they want. They have their sights set on you. This is a very determined energy, you know, and somebody that may almost like present a very fresh approach or be a very different kind of person than someone who's been attracted to you or has admired you in the past. The approach that they present, or kind of like who they are, how they live their life, what they have to offer, may be very different from what you're used to experiencing. Maybe even just the fact that this person, even if they've had their ups and downs in kind of life and love, it's not closed them off. It's not made them sort of have a negative view on love. This is somebody that is still very much in the belief that the soulmate is out there, their person is out there. Love is in the cards for them, no matter how many times it hasn't worked out, no matter what stage in their life they're at. There's a sense of like, I know I know love is in my destiny. I know a partnership with a person who sees me and values me for who I am, and I can be that for them as well. I know that that is available for me. And so it feels like because their attention has been captured by you, there's a sense of like, okay, could you be the one? This isn't just somebody that's coming in like Casanova and just, wanting to kind of play the field. This is somebody that is interested in like long-term relationships. This is somebody who likes the idea of monogamy, partnership. They're looking to start a family. They're looking to settle down. And any sort of disappointments or discouragements they've had in the past, they've been knocked off the horse. They've gotten back on. This hasn't stopped them in kind of this pursuit for like the right person, and they operate, it feels like, on feeling at this point. When they feel something about somebody, they act in that capacity. There may also be something in terms of like other things about this person. They may have a sense of like, I know a good thing when I see it. They may kind of be somebody who deals with like investments or businesses, or they're very like in tune with their psychic sense and ability. They follow those nudges that they get internally or that the universe gives them, and it's worked out very well for them in their life overall, in a general sense. And so with this situation, this is one of those kind of factors. This is one of those things where, okay, that spidey sense within is encouraging me to take a step towards this person. So I'm going to do that. I'm not just going to let this opportunity pass me by. But let's take a little bit of a deeper look and see, will they approach you anytime soon? Okay, we have new moon, promise, eagle, communion, cave, sanctuary, and lightning, power. So with this card, I was hearing the eagle has landed. So yeah, they're definitely planning that movement towards you, planning to approach you. This is something that eagles may be significant to this situation, to this connection. You may start to see eagles, or there could be something about this person related to eagles that could be that clue or that indicator. But it's like they've set their sights on you. They're kind of circling around and getting ready to make contact, to initiate something, following that spark that they have sensed between the two of you, that they felt inside. And there's a sense of like, I don't want to just be an observer. I don't want to just be somebody that views you from a distance. I want to approach. I want to get to know you. I want to see, is this chemistry that I sense? Is this feeling that I have inside? Could this be something where this is like the start of a long-term relationship? Could you be the one? Could you be the person that I've searched for? Could you be that individual that helps to explain why it never worked out with anybody else? Because I was being prepared for this moment in time, for you, for us, for this situation. So this is an energy of somebody who is very enthusiastic. It feels like they may approach kind of, relatively speaking, this isn't somebody who's gonna, just again, sit there for like months and months and months. I'm drawn to the idea with like the new moon and kind of a lunar cycle almost. This is somebody who's building up that momentum. If they're doing some kind of like, okay, I need to sort of find out a little bit more as far as like process of elimination. Does it seem like they're in a relationship with anybody? Does it seem like this is somebody, that's like dating people, that's open for love? They're going through that vetting process, and they may have already satisfied their curiosity enough to where it's like, I won't know for sure until I approach this person and speak. But so far it seems they're open, they're available, they're ready. They're not like with anyone in a long-term sense, which it feels like this is somebody who is confident enough in themselves. They don't care if you're talking to other people. They don't care if there's other people interested. It's kind of like, I only have eyes for you. I've set my sights on you, and I'm determined to help you to see me as the best possible choice, to eclipse anybody else that might possibly have interest in you, or might have your attention, or want to approach. This is somebody that it feels like they don't want to waste any time of kind of like playing it cool or being passive. It feels like this is the type of person that And this might be really refreshing compared to what you've experienced in other individuals. They're not going to play a waiting game with you. This isn't going to be somebody that toys around with contact and sort of like, they disappear for days on end, or they take hours to respond to you. This is somebody that it's like they're going to keep the pace with you. They're going to set the tone. And it feels like in this situation of just, I'm interested, I'm actively engaged in getting to know you. I'm investing myself in this situation. This is somebody that may be just very like tired of the dating game, tired of the games that people play with one another emotionally, tired of like power struggles. This is someone who's looking for an equal. They're looking for a partnership. This is somebody who's looking to kind of take things to the next level in their life in general, as far as moving away from disappointments. They're not looking to waste your time. They're looking to really just cut to the chase and like, hey, I'm attracted to you. I'm interested in you. Hi, this is who I am. Let me tell you about myself. Let me ask questions. Let me get to know you. Let me ask you out and plan dates. This is not someone that's just going to like move in and try to hang around in the friend zone for a while. It feels like this is definitely somebody that they're going to make their intentions known pretty quickly. It may almost be the energy of they come on so directly, not that it would be overwhelming, but it may, again, just be very refreshing or different from people that you've dealt with in the past romantically, because it feels like this is somebody that's very confident, but they're not coming forward in, like this false bravado almost. They're just very self-assured, very secure within themselves as a person or in this place in their life. And there's a sense of, I see you, I'm attracted to you, I feel something towards you, and I want to come in closer and explore that. Is there more to that? Is there depth to this? Do we have compatibility with one another? Are we looking for the same thing? Would, this idea of like, I've seen you from afar, you've sparked my interest, you've piqued my curiosity. How does that translate if we're face to face, if we're spending time with one another, if we're getting to know one another directly? So for a lot of you, this is like quick communication, quick movement, somebody that very like relatively speaking in a short period of time. Like at the most, it feels like just a couple of months. This feels much more urgent than that though. Where this is like somebody who's right on the brink of like, I'm going to say hi to this person. I'm going to approach this person. This may even be somebody who like sees you in your workplace and they're getting ready to kind of like take the communication beyond just sort of like client or customer, or somebody that you deal with in that capacity. And this could be somebody that is going to try to take that into more of like a personal arena, or suggest that you have some sort of interaction with one another like outside of the workplace. You may also see them in their workplace and they're getting ready to kind of step over that just sort of cordial energy, that pleasant sort of energy. This is not a person who's afraid of taking risks in life or in this situation, and they're laser focused on you at this particular point in time with an interest of, let's get to know one another. So let's get some messages from this person's higher self and see what they want you to know. Okay, and we have trust in the infinite possibilities. Yeah, so it feels like you could encounter this person anywhere. They have the upper hand in this situation, and it's like they're closing in on you, getting ready to sort of pounce, present themselves, not in a way that is nonchalant, but this is somebody that's like, I want to make myself memorable to you. I don't want to come on too strong. The intensity of this energy, this person may just have a very intense energy about them. Their eyes may be very intense. Their energy is very intense. This could be like a very passionate person. And so there's a sense of, they may know that about themselves and are trying to sort of ground themselves as much as possible so that you're not like overwhelmed, but there's a level of, they are intense as a person, and then they feel something for you that is it's notable, it's remarkable, it's obvious, it continues to kind of enhance the more that they are in this kind of observer, this viewer energy, this secret admirer sort of energy. And so there's the sense of kind of like working their way to this place of, let me introduce myself. Let me speak to you. Let me take the nature of our interactions outside whatever they've been. If this is, again, somebody that you would see, it doesn't feel like coworker, but it'd be somebody that would be on the other side of the equation for whatever you do professionally. So like a client or a customer, or you're a client or customer of an establishment that this person frequents or works in, for example. Or it may, again, just be like somebody at the gym, somebody at the coffee shop, somebody that's getting ready to approach you in a direct way, not with excuses, not like playing it subtle, but it feels like putting themselves out there in a way that makes it unmistakable that they're interested in you. They also say, I love you to the moon and back. So yeah, this is somebody that has been watching from the shadows, making their way towards you. They are not in the energy of fear whatsoever. There's a sense of almost excitement, elation. What if this person likes me back? What if they say yes? What if we get to know one another and this is exactly who I've been looking for? They're very enthusiastic. They're very like, I'm not putting any limits in my mind as far as what can happen in this situation. I'm open to whatever. They also say, I can hear and feel you so strongly. So this person, if they like prayed for guidance about the situation, prayed for reassurance, maybe they kind of like shared their feelings or, their plans and thoughts with somebody close to them, somebody trusted that is kind of like taken notice of you as well, or that they've like shown you to, or sort of pointed you out to. They've gotten a lot of reassurance from other people of like, go for it. It seems like a good idea. It seems like this is the right circumstances, the right time. They're getting a lot of encouragement in that capacity to, continue forth with sort of this plan of action that has been implemented inside of them. This sort of determination of, I need to move in closer. I need to explore this. They also say, I'm trying not to lose faith. So they may kind of be right at the brink of saying something. It's like, oh, I'm nervous, I'm excited. There's butterflies and anything could happen in this situation. So it feels like somebody that they're not going to be able to just sort of sit in silence for much longer. So maybe somebody that the next time you're in the same kind of like vicinity as them, it's kind of like, okay, the next time I see this person, I'm going to say something. The next time, not like if it feels like the right time, but the next time they are around, I am going to say something. I'm going to approach. I'm not just going to sit on this. I'm not just going to wait very much longer and risk that if this person is single, if they're available, that'll just always be the case. So let's get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name, or can spell something out. So whatever resonates for you. Got F, J, I, B, W, O, L, T, T, U, P, G, H, C, S, E, D, M, U, N, H, R, A, Y, and G. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.